Hi, I'm Matt from Duo Security. Today I'm going to show you how to protect Citrix NetScaler 11 with Duo using an alternate configuration. In this video, you will see how to install the Windows version of the Duo authentication proxy and configure it to use your existing primary authenticator and add Duo as a secondary authenticator. Using this setup will allow users to perform things like password resets via Active Directory. Note that the authentication proxy can also be installed on a Linux machine. Be sure to read the full instructions for this application on duo.com/docs before installing it. To get started, log in to the Duo admin panel. Once there, click on Applications, then click Protect an Application. Type in the name of the application you'd like to protect, in this case, Citrix NetScaler. Then click Protect this application, which takes you to your new application's properties page. Keep this page open as you continue through the setup process. Next, you need to install the Duo authentication proxy. At the top of the properties page, click the link to the NetScaler documentation, then click the link to the alternate instruction. Scroll down and click the link to download the Duo authentication proxy for Windows. On the system you have chosen to host the proxy, launch the installer and follow the on-screen prompts. After the installation is complete, you need to configure the authentication proxy. Run a text editor like WordPad as an administrator. Click Open and navigate to the conf subdirectory of the proxy installation. Open authproxy.cfg. The file may contain example text, which you can delete. At the top of the file, add a duo_only_client section. This will configure the authentication proxy to perform Duo second factor authentication only. No additional information needs to be included in this section. Add an empty line below it. Next, configure the proxy to work with your Citrix NetScaler. Create a radius_server_iframe section. Start with type equals Citrix_NetScaler and then add the integration key, secret key, and API hostname from your properties page in the Duo admin panel. Then configure the fail mode and add a line with client equals Duo only client. Then input your NetScaler's IP address and secret key. After that, enter a port on which to listen for incoming radius access requests. The default is 1812. Add an empty line below this section. Now configure the proxy to work with Citrix Receiver. Create a radius_server_duo_only section. Enter the same I key, S key, and API hostname from your NetScaler application's properties page. Configure the fail mode, and then enter your NetScaler's IP address and secret key. After that, enter a port that is different from the one you used for the radius server iframe section. Save your configuration file. Now start the authentication proxy. Open an administrator command prompt and type net start duo auth proxy. Great. Now let's configure your Citrix NetScaler gateway. Log in to the NetScaler admin interface. In the left panel, click NetScaler Gateway and then Virtual Servers. Select your virtual server and click Edit. On the VPN virtual server page, click the plus sign next to Authentication and add a new policy. In the drop-down menus, select Radius and Secondary. Click Continue. Click the plus sign next to the Select Policy box under Policy Binding. Enter a name for the policy like Citrix Web Portal, and then click the plus sign next to the server box to create a new server for authentication using browser clients. On the Create Authentication Radius Server page, enter a name like Duo Citrix Web Portal. Then enter the hostname or IP address of your Duo authentication proxy server and the port from the Radius Server iframe section of your configuration file. Set the timeout to 60 and enter the Radius secret shared with your auth proxy. Click Create. Click Expression Editor on the Create Authentication Radius policy page. In the box that appears, set the expression type to General, flow type to REQ, protocol to HTTP, qualifier to header, and operator to not contains. In the value field, enter Citrix Receiver, then in the header name field, enter user-agent. Then click Done. Click Create to save your policy and return to the Choose Type page. On the Choose Type page, select your new policy. Under Binding Details, set the priority to 100 and click Bind. Now we'll add a second authentication policy for Citrix Receiver. Click the plus sign next to Authentication again. On the Choose Type page, select Radius and Secondary in the drop-downs. Click Continue. Click Add Binding. Under Policy Binding, next to the Select Policy box, click the plus sign. On the Create Authentication Radius Policy page, enter a name like Citrix Receiver and click the plus sign next to the server box to create a new Radius server for Citrix Receiver clients. On the box that appears, enter a name like Duo Citrix Receiver and the host name or IP address of your authentication proxy server. Enter the port from the Radius Server Duo Only section of your config file. Set the timeout to 60 and type in the secret key shared with your proxy. Click More, then check the box labeled Send Calling Station ID. Click Create. Next, click the Expression Editor link on the Create Authentication Radius Policy page. Set expression type to General, flow type to REQ, protocol to HTTP, qualifier to Header, and operator to Contains. In the Value field, enter Citrix Receiver, then in the Header Name field, enter User-Agent. Then click Done. Click Create. Set the priority to 110 and click Bind. Back on the Choose Type page, check to make sure that the policies for your browser and receiver clients are both listed and bound in the correct order. Click Close to save your new policy configuration. Scroll down and click Done. Now let's customize the sign-in page of your NetScaler gateway to hide the secondary password field. SSH into your Citrix NetScaler and type shell. Create a custom theme directory. Then copy the CSS theme for your chosen base design to a custom folder. Back on the Citrix NetScaler administrative interface, in the left panel, click NetScaler Gateway and then click Global Settings. Click Change Global Settings. Click the Client Experience tab and change the UI theme drop-down option to Custom. Click OK. Back in the shell, make a backup copy of the Gateway Login Form View JavaScript file. Open the Gateway Login Form View JavaScript file in VI. Navigate to rdx.gatewayloginformview.prototype.makeView function within the JavaScript file and add the following modifications. On a new line before the if pwc equals 2 line, add var duo_enabled equals true semicolon. Then append the string && space !duo_enabled to the instance of pwc equals 2. Save the file and quit VI. Now let's test your NetScaler's browser access setup using an enrolled and activated Duo user. Navigate to the URL you normally use to log in to your NetScaler. Enter your username and password and the Duo authentication prompt appears. You can select Send me a push, call me, or enter a passcode. Click Send me a push to send a Duo push notification, the most secure form of authentication available today, to your smartphone. On your phone, open the notification, tap the green button to accept, and you're logged in. You've successfully set up Duo 2-factor authentication for Citrix NetScaler.